The movie starts and a girl named Louise is shown to us. Louise has a daughter whom she loves a lot, but unfortunately her daughter gets cancer and dies at a very young age. But then in the next scene, we see that all this was just a vision of Louise. However, looking at this scene, it seems as if this is Louise's past. The fact is that nothing like this has happened yet. Louise is still single and not married. The vision she had was of her future, where she will have a daughter who will die at a young age due to cancer. But for now, Louise does not understand why this is happening to her. It is the present time, and Louise teaches children at a university. Along with that, she is also a linguistic expert. A linguistic expert is someone who knows about many languages. When Louise is teaching at the university, she learns from the news that 12 spaceships of aliens have landed in different places around the world. Because of this, the whole world is very worried. The alien spaceships have caused chaos everywhere, but they are not doing any kind of action. This has made all the countries of the world begin to doubt, especially the countries where the spaceships have landed. Everyone is thinking the same thing. What is the purpose of the aliens? If their purpose of coming to Earth was to kill humans and finish them, then they would have done something or attacked, but they have not done anything yet. Even their spaceships did not land completely on the ground, as there was a little gap between the ground and the spaceships, making them stable in the air. Then we see Louise coming back home from the university, and she is watching the same news on TV about the aliens. The next day, when she goes back to the university, she sees that no one has come to the university today. The whole university is empty because the US government has put a lockdown everywhere. Louise sits in her office, and while she is sitting there, an army colonel comes to meet her. He wants to talk to Louise about talking to the aliens. 2 years ago, Louise helped the US Army by translating Persian language into English. The colonel tells Louise about the recording of those aliens and asks her to translate what they're saying. When the colonel plays that recording, they find out that these people have tried to talk to those aliens. And the aliens have also answered them, but they completely failed to understand the language of those aliens. When Louise listens to the language of those aliens, she also does not understand it. She also does not know what those aliens want to say, because it is not the language of this world. Louise tells the colonel that if he wants her to understand this language and translate it, he needs to take her to the place where they are trying to talk to the aliens. The colonel initially refuses, but returns to Louise's house at night with a helicopter to take her to the place where the others are trying to contact the aliens. In the helicopter, we see another man named Jan, who is a biologist and will help Louise with this work. Jan is actually a biologist, and he will explain the purpose of the aliens coming to this world. When Louise and Jan enter the alien spaceship, they do not just go there, but they also wear radiation suits so that if there is any radiation or virus in the alien spaceship, they can be protected with the help of these suits. Then, when they enter the spaceship from below, they notice that the gravity is working differently. That is, the gravity is working in a way that allows them to only walk up from the ground. Finally, they reach the place where the aliens are, and they face these strange aliens for the first time. The aliens come in front of them, and they are very strange to see because they have 7 legs. Seeing such strange aliens in front of her, Louise is very surprised. She becomes so confused that she can't do anything. However, somehow, when she tries to talk to them, the aliens listen and answer, but it is obvious that they do not understand her. When they return to the army camp, the colonel asks them about their progress. Here we learn that America was not the only country trying to talk to the aliens, as other countries were also attempting to communicate with them. That is, in the countries where these spaceships landed, all these countries were connected to each other and were in contact with each other. They were all trying to talk to those aliens, with only one question in mind. Why did those aliens come to Earth, and what is their purpose? The next day, when Louise goes to talk to the aliens in their spaceship again, she brings a whiteboard with her so that she can communicate with them in written form. This time, when she talks to the aliens, she writes humans on the whiteboard to introduce themselves. One of the aliens responds by making a circle, indicating their acknowledgement. This shows that the aliens have their own way of communicating in written form, which is completely different from humans. While we use words and letters, the circular symbol is their written form. Upon returning to the camp, the team tries many times to understand the circular symbol, but they fail. When they try to communicate with the aliens again, Louise writes her name on the whiteboard and then takes off her radiation suit to show herself to the aliens. The aliens respond by writing their own name in their language and showing it to them. Then Louise does this. Ian also takes off his suit. He writes his name on the whiteboard and shows it to those aliens. Then the aliens tell them their name again, which is also in their circular pattern language. But again, they do not understand the aliens' language and what their name is. So Jan gives a name of his own choosing to the two aliens. However, since the aliens have 7 legs, they give them a different name for their convenience. When they return to the army camp, they are checked because they took off their radiation suite that day. During the checkup, they're found to be completely safe, normal, and not victims of radiation or at risk of a virus. This confirms that the alien spaceship is safe and free of bacteria, viruses, and radiation. Now, by doing this, they go to the spaceship of those aliens every day for a month and try to understand their language repeatedly. After a month, the result shows that Louise is very successful in understanding their language. However, Louise is always bothered by the vision that came to her at the start of the movie when her son died of cancer. She thinks it may all be a dream. Along with understanding their language, Louise also successfully decodes their written form. The time comes when people will ask the most important question to those aliens. What is the purpose of their visit to Earth? But when Louise asks them this question, they again make a circular pattern in their answer. After decoding it, Louise finds out that those aliens are saying to use weapons. Now, Louise feels that she may have made a mistake in understanding that circular pattern, or there might be another meaning of weapon in the aliens' language. The Colonel thinks that the aliens want to have a war with them and kill them. However, Louise still thinks that she has made a mistake in understanding the circular pattern. When other countries learn that the aliens have requested to use weapons, fear spreads everywhere and everyone begins to think that the aliens will surely attack them. Up until now, all the countries that are in contact with each other and were working together wanted to deal with the aliens one by one on their own. First, China breaks its relationship with all the countries and prepares to attack the aliens on its own. Now, looking at China, other countries also break their relationships and prepare for war against the aliens. On the other side, some army officers in the US put a time bomb in an alien spaceship. Luis and Ian also feel that they made a mistake in understanding the aliens' language, so they go to talk to the aliens again. They ask the aliens in their language through a system what they want from them, but this time the aliens make many circular symbols in response. It is challenging to decode at this time, and that is why they fail to understand what the aliens are trying to say. Louise begins to have visions of her daughter again. She is fed up with all of this and wonders why she keeps having the same vision repeatedly. We see that the aliens have started doing strange activities and movements. They have come to know that their spacecraft has a time bomb and only a few seconds are left before the explosion. The aliens throw them out to save their lives before the bomb blast happens. Later, there's a huge explosion, but thanks to the aliens, both of their lives are saved. After this, their spacecraft goes a little higher, making it difficult for humans to reach it. The US Army had planted a bomb, so they thought they had attacked the aliens. In return, they expected the aliens to attack them too. Preparations are made to remove the camp that was there. Later, when they return to the army camp, they try to understand small symbols that were previously difficult to understand. After a lot of attention, Jan realizes that the symbols mean all countries should work together. Only then will they understand the aliens' language. Jan also discovers that there are 12 symbols pointing to the 12 alien spacecraft that have landed on the ground. The aliens want the whole country to work together to decode their language. China does not understand this, so they declare that if the aliens bring their spacecraft to their country, they will attack and destroy them. On the other hand, the colonel in the US is unable to do anything because he has also received orders to destroy the leadership. Lias has another vision where she explains to the colonel that they should reconnect with the rest of the country. But the colonel no longer has the authority to do so. Meanwhile, Louise has another vision in which she sees a small alien ship coming out of the larger one. In the next scene, she finds herself on the alien ship. When Louise goes out to see the alien spaceship, a small alien ship is actually coming out of it. Now, Louise goes to that spaceship alone. Preparation of the aliens have been made all over the world. When Louise talks to the aliens again, she learns that due to the time bomb, one of the 2 aliens died. Louise asks the alien what they meant by use weapon, and the alien responds that it means to use their gift. This gift is none other than their language. Despite this, Louise couldn't understand what the alien was saying. When the alien sees Louise confused, they explain that in 3,000 years, they will need human help. And Louise is the one who can stop a war between humans and aliens because she can see the future. This is her quality. After saying this, the alien returns, and Louise also comes out safely from their spaceship. Now, we can understand why Louise has these visions again and again. The reason is none other than the language of the aliens that she's been trying to learn for many years. The written form of the alien language is different from ours, and their perception of time is not exactly the same as ours. While we humans live in our present time and can only see it, these aliens can see the past, present, and future thanks to their language. As we read and speak, our thinking gets shaped accordingly. Similarly, Louise understood the alien language, and so she was having visions of her daughter's future. This meant she was capable of seeing the future. China was fully prepared to attack the aliens. But Louise has a vision of 18 months later, where she finds herself at a party and sees the Chinese colonel in front of her. He thanks Laius for calling him on his personal number, and he mentions that she said the words his wife said to him before her death. These words changed his mind, and China took back their decision to attack the aliens. However, Louise knew she never called the colonel. Then, the army colonel tells Louise his number. The message was that there are no winners in war, but only those who are left alone when their loved ones sacrifice their lives in war. After hearing this message, the colonel took back his decision to attack the aliens. As soon as Louise's vision of the future ends, she immediately understands that only she can stop this war. She had China's army colonel's number through her vision, and she also had the message that the colonel's wife said to him before her death. That's why Laius steals the phone and immediately calls the colonel and relays the same messages. As soon as Louise does this, China takes back its decision to attack the aliens and other countries follow suit. That means they won't attack the aliens. That means everything becomes normal. Now, as soon as this happens, the aliens change their position and later disappear somewhere in the air. Once again, happiness spreads all over the world. Later, Louise writes a book about the language of those aliens so that the rest of the world can understand it. In the next scene, we see Louise having another vision in which she sees her daughter again. When she sees her daughter's father, her husband, she finds out that her future husband is none other than Jan. Louise knows very well that in the future, her daughter will have cancer and die at a young age. Despite knowing the truth, Louise still decides to marry Jan, preparing herself for that future. Although losing her daughter will be a great sorrow for her, she is completely ready for it. She hugs Jan, thinking of him as her husband. The movie ends with this scene. Thank you for watching.